morning, everyone, and good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. We're joined by Devils head coach Lindy Ruff for today's 12 noon media availability. As a reminder, please send me a note in the chat, and I'll add your question to the queue. We'll lead off with Amanda Stein, NewJerseyDevils.com.
Hey, Lindy. When I was sort of thinking about the last four games, I was wondering from your opinion, in the first two, what was the most valuable lesson your club learned going into Madison Square Garden with their first two games at home?
Well, I think those two games were different in the way we looked at them as coaches. But I think what we took out of it is we knew especially from game two, we had to play a lot better defensively. That our structure and what we set out to do at the start of the year, we got away from it in game two, and some of it was a little bit when you get down by a couple goals. You start to press. It was a 2-1 game, late in the second period that we showed a lot of patience throughout the year to be able to bounce back and tie a game up and win it. And I thought we lost a little of that patience in that game and got away from our game.
So how do you translate that then into game five, going back onto home ice?
Well, if you look at what we did in games 3 and 4, you really focus on that. I think we came really close to in our game. Our speed was good. We created some odd numbered rushes. We had guys in alone. The transition game was good. I thought it was a pretty even game. Game 3, I thought we got more to our game in game 4 where we really stayed on top of the puck.
What have you liked about the way Nico has been playing? He's really kept down the chances, high danger chances when he's on the ice for the Rangers. That pass he made to Jonas last night. What has been, what has been your impression of him in these first 4 games?
Well, a lot like the regular season where we count on him for both sides of the puck to play well defensively, get to tough assignments. Although we weren't really matching up a lot last night, and then they changed lines, so kind of changed the matchup. But he draws the tough assignment. We're asking him to be that guy that can be real responsible, and then at the same time, we're asking him to help provide offense. And made a great play to Jonas on the winning goal.
You talked last night about Jack's play away from the puck, especially with how much attention is on him. What's his biggest growth in that area that maybe you've seen just over these few short games in his first taste of the postseason?
Just defensive awareness, being aware where the next chance could happen, being ready to help, be that guy that breaks up that opportunity. And I thought last night he played a really solid two-way game. Details of the game, when you're looking at a game that's 1-1 and then it's 2-1, to make sure that we give ourselves every opportunity to win that game 2-1, but at the same time, still being able to play and knowing that we're going to have to create opportunities and try to get that third goal.
Thanks, Lindy.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Amanda. Next question will go to Bill Spalding, MSG Networks.
Hey, Lindy, I have two for you. First off, what do you think was the biggest key to the 2 minutes of 6-on-5 at the end, and how you basically limited the Rangers to no real offensive chances during that stretch with the goalie out?
I thought our pressure, when you look at where our penalties killing gone, we've gotten a lot more aggressive, and 5-on-6 is a version of penalty killing, and we didn't want to sit back. We wanted to have pressure. We wanted to have pressure up ice. At the same time, we wanted to make sure we had people back. But inside the zone, we were on the puck. We took their time away, and we basically said if you can make 3 or 4 good passes, you might be able to expose us. But we didn't want to just sit inside and give them that opportunity.
And then on Damon Severson specifically, have you noticed the last couple of months, but particularly these last few games, do you feel like he's taken some of the risk out of his game and become more consistent back there in those big spots?
I do. I thought last night was a real good indication of just keeping the game in front of you, maybe not pushing a pass into where, it's high risk and it can turn into something else. I thought he made that first pass a lot of times was the right play. I thought offensively, we want our D to shoot more. I thought he made it a concerted attempt at that. You can just, loop him in with the other five. I thought our D had a real good night.
Thanks, Lindy.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Bill. Next question, go to Mike Morrell, NHL.com.
Good morning, Lindy. Thanks for doing this. Lindy, I know we've probably seen some of it during the regular season, maybe not to this extent, but can you speak to the ability of the club to still play with that speed that we all know and love, but now show this type of defensive responsibility, particularly in the neutral zone? It seems games 3 and 4, it was a complete shutdown in the center ice area. And confusing, it seemed like confusing the Rangers as they entered the end, your end of the ice.
Yeah, I think we got a little disconnected. I thought we were better at keeping our forwards tighter, so there wasn't lanes in between, our layers of defense through the neutral zone. And then I thought we had real good sticks, so just detail stuff where your sticks are good, your angles are good, you're getting above, and if it looks like they got somebody beat, we had the next guy coming and took their time and space away. And tough task because they've got, they got some good speed with Zibanejad and Kreider, and Heedle's a great skater too. So you don't want to get caught flat-footed. So I thought our guys did a lot better job, and it was probably a reason that we were able to limit a lot of the opportunities.
Thanks, Lindy.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mike. Our next question will go to Ryan Novozinski, NJ.com.
Hey, Lindy, just curious, I guess back in November, when Akira was called up, just kind of what was the scouting report that you got from Utica on him, versus a guy like Nico Dawes?
Well, if you look at, I'm getting a lot of backlash here. Oh, we're okay now. Most of the input we get is from our guys down in Utica and how well he had played. And, the deal with playing in Utica is usually the best player gets called up. Sometimes it's due to injury. I can't remember at the time what Dawes' status was, but obviously the guy that's going the best gets the call, and at that period of time he was going the best.
And just curious too, how would you say Vanacek has dealt with this and your interactions with him?
He's been a great teammate, totally on board, totally supportive. I had a great conversation with him. And I have mentioned that I think our team has played a lot better. We didn't play really well in front of him. And when you look at what we've done the last 2 games, we've cleaned up our defensive game, and that would bode well for his game too.
Thank you, Ryan. Our next question will go to Mark Cannizzaro, New York Post.
Hey, Lindy, thank you for doing this. If you would indulge me a little bit, and I'm going a little back a little bit, a few months and bigger picture, but I'm looking back to that second, the home opener with the Fire Lindy chants from everybody, and just kind of wondering what your reaction was, as you recall that night, and what it was, a couple of weeks later when you got the sorry Lindy, and kind of where it's come since then.
Well, again, I think I mentioned right after the game that our fans want to see us win, and I said I take full responsibility for the way our team plays and whether we win games. And I mentioned that we had a real good training camp, and I think we start in Philly and we were out without our captain, I believe, which is a big loss. And we played a game that we were traded a lot of offense. it wasn't the same type of game that we played during training camp. We limited the opportunities. We were good away from the puck. The Detroit game back home, I just remember we did a lot of great things, but every mistake we made, went in the net. It was one of those nights that you feel like there's no way the score should have been 5-1, but you lose a hockey game. So, I remember, it's just really based on passionate fans saying, "Hey, enough of this. We want to see this club win."
But if I could just follow up, it was the first home game of the season. Wasn't that a little appalling that would take place that soon? I know you had a good preseason and whatnot prior to that, but that was kind of soon, wasn't it?
Well, isn't that the area? Isn't that part of the area we live in, though?
I think it is. Yeah.
So, I mean, highly emotional fans. I mean, it's part of today's sport. And like I said, that night, they saw the loss to the Flyers. They saw a pretty good training camp, and then all of a sudden they see a loss in the first game, and they see a loss in the second game, and basically what they're saying is, enough of this. And I think you got to give our players a lot of credit for right after that hunkering it down and really going on one heck of a run.
Do you remember what your emotion was when you heard the "Sorry, Lindy" stuff? Because that's kind of unique. And were you amused by it?
I didn't really. I mean, you might find this strange, but I didn't really. I mean, you're in that little enclosure on the bench, and I didn't. Somebody had mentioned they were chanting, and I didn't really notice it initially. Probably at my age, my hearing's going too. But I think that comes. I mean, not many times you can go on a roll like we did, after losing the first two games. I think we were maybe 18-1-1, something like that after that. I mean, that in combination, that's really hard to put together.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. See you
You're
tomorrow.
welcome. Okay, Mark. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Our next question will go to Catherine Bogart, NJDTV.
Hey, Lindy, quick question for you. How important is an off day in this part of the series that you're able to take and then have a full practice day as well?
Well, I mean, it has been a tough grind when you look at it, and you look at the one game went into overtime, and you're playing 4 games, and you're playing every other day. So when I look at it, a complete day away to just try to refresh and make sure that we have all the energy for the next game, for game 5, because we know that game 5 is it gets re-energized because both teams realize that now it's a best of 3, and game 5 is a big game, and I think they feel good because they've come into our building and won a couple games, and we feel good because we've just come off of 2 wins in their building.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Catherine. Our next question and the last question in the queue goes to Josh Reinitz, Jersey Sports Now.
Good afternoon, Lindy. Just wondering if you could speak to Jack's compete level and how he's raised his competitiveness in his first time in the playoffs, and whether playing with Eric and Andre has influenced that.
Well, he knew that that level of compete was going to have to go up. I think he understands that the playoffs, and I think all our players have a better understanding how the playoffs, the level of intensity, the level of emotion, the highs are high, the lows are low, but you have to balance it. But if you look at, he's been involved physically. He's cut guys off and finished checks on big men. He's done a good job away from the puck in defensive responsibilities that, maybe during the season you would look for that quick offense. He stayed in good defensive posture and made sure that he supported the play, and all the stuff that when it comes inside a playoff match, all the little 1% things that by the end of the night, if you take care of business, you're going to give yourself an opportunity to score, and you won't get scored against.